Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Overseas Dimes. I'm your host, as always, Rich Quinones, and we are coming at you live not only on the YouTube channel, but of course, listening in our very good friends, Channel 82 in Bermuda, and just absolutely thrilled to get my guy on, of course, Pro Hoops head coach Freddie Zamora. And not only is he coach, but he's an author, he's a writer, he does player personnel. I mean, he's got ties, he's got connections, he's overseas, he's all over the place. And I know he's running around with his beautiful family, but he decided he's going to run the floor with me for a couple moments on this edition of Overseas Dimes. What's going on, Coach?
Man, not much. I appreciate you having me on, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I appreciate it as always. And, the show itself, it's kind of like a fast paced 20, 25 minutes where we talk a lot of overseas, right? Because
Mm.
I think the growth of the game overseas has been exponential. Love to get on coaches, love to get on players. You've got such a unique background, basketball lifer, played coach, player personnel, recruiting all over the place. I'm wondering, your story itself. How did you get involved in the game of hoops?
Oh man, so I mean, I started at a really young age playing with my brothers and stuff. Um, Grew up, just fell in love with the game, watching it all the time. Um, and then honestly, like I never really wanted to get into coaching. And then I was speaking to one of my college coaches in the past, and he kept recommending that I try it out, And I took a graduate assistant role with Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, and then from there, man, I just feel like every year it's just been, in a good way, something else. And I always love trying new things, and I love, challenging myself. And I've been fortunate to be able to coach, like, on a lot of different levels. And like you said, just connections by meeting a lot of people and doing good by people. And it's kind of just led me to here, to where now, like, I'm just super involved with overseas basketball. I, in a sense, watch it just as much as I do U.S. basketball, because I just like seeing the different styles of play and different ways that different markets get down and how coaches
Right.
coach, and it's just really cool to see. And like
I
you said, to watch
know.
it grow and expand, it's been awesome.
Yeah, and I know, you've had a lot of success, obviously coaching in the States with various leagues, and we're seeing now, I think some of these, I don't want to say entities, but those that want to create other leagues, they're trying to compete. Look, you got the NBA, you got the G League. A lot of people sit there and say the G League needs to market itself better. Okay, fine, we understand that. You have NBA Africa that's growing because there's a lot of money in that. Obviously, you and I are familiar with the TBL, the basketball league, right? With a lot of teams in various markets, and they've done a good job of cultivating the contacts and growing the league. The BSL, you got the ECBL. I told you a lot of these teams now jumping from the TBL, revamped USBL, which was very popular and huge years ago back in the day. I know everyone wants to kind of create a league, and it's hard to do it in the States, but I also look at what's going on overseas. And if you can kind of get the right fit, the right country, the right area, it's okay if you have two, three, four leagues, because I feel as though it's I don't want to say it's more popular, but I feel as though there's more players that are actively engaged. And plus, you've got an opportunity to poach the US players to go play over there. So, like, kind of a loaded question. When you look at what's transpiring in the States and then some of the leagues overseas, what are your overall thoughts on that? Do you see more growth here or more growth over there?
Mm. I feel like internationally, like you said, there's just different tiers in different countries, like there's obviously your entry level roles, your mid tier, your high tier. And as you said, like kind of in the US, it's like NBA, NBA G League, and then to me, in a sense, it's kind of just like all the semi pro leagues, whether it's
Yep.
TBL, I mean ABA,
Yep.
all those, and it is cool to be able to watch them, like let guys continue their careers. And um, as you said, if the team's really good at marketing and actually good at getting these guys their, some solid quality film and quality stats to use, it's very, very helpful. I think the problem is not enough teams do that for their guys, um, and that's what makes it a little bit tough. Because like dealing with all these athletes and agents and owners and stuff from all over the world, Some look at our leagues here in the US as like credible and oh, they got good film and they have good stats, like good talent competition. And then some are like, no, that's not it. That's not good product. We don't want guys from there, and it really varies. And I think that's what makes it really hard is because it's not across the board in all these leagues, is what I'm saying. Like, again, there are teams, as you know, that do this the right way. But I think until the league can do this fully across the board to where everybody has high quality live streams and high
Yes.
quality stats, like with what you do, it's extremely vital and important to be able to have that, especially for these athletes. But um, I don't know. It's a little bit different internationally though because, like I said, they all have their tiers, and they've all been going on for some amount of years. But I think what's really cool about that from the international standpoint is like you're able to stack seasons, is what we call it. So like
Okay.
for example, if a guy goes to Mexico and he plays in a certain league, that league won't run into or that league will run into the next league to where like if he's good enough, yeah, you get to stay in Mexico for another 3 or 4 months and probably make a little bit more money in a better league. And guess what? If you're even good enough there and you dominate there, now you're playing in the top tier and you're, in a different season. So you might be there all year round, depending on how it looks. Or like you said, if you go and play in another country during this season, but then you're able to come back to this country for this season, now you're able to like, all right, I'm playing all year round and staying busy, and I think that's really cool. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty cool just that guys, can continue playing and enjoy doing what they love to do here in the States as well.
I think you brought up a couple points, really good points of interest, right? Because
Mhm,
the leagues, in the states, some of these semi-pro leagues, lower tier leagues, they do run against each other. I mean, they
mhm,
bleed over, right? And then, like obviously, the TBL now the USBL they'll start in March, so it's a March, April, May, June-ish kind of run. Then you might get some summer league stuff going on, different markets,
mhm,
outside Jersey Shore, JSBL or, guys running in New York or down in the DMV, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, Washington area, right? Then all of a sudden you got October and then you got, I believe, the ECBL, the ABA, so it's like you know they're competing with each
mhm.
other, right? And that can be a good thing, but also it kind of limits players if they're not running concurrently, as you mentioned. So you're over and saying you're playing with SEPA Pack and you're playing in one lower league and you run for 3 months, and then all of a sudden come March, hey, this other league's going to start in April, May, June. You're getting a ton of reps. And the other thing you brought up that was really interesting was that they I'm finding it as a broadcaster where some leagues will look at leagues you're calling games for, and I don't take it personal. I'm just like, hey, let the work speak for itself. But it's almost like they're discrediting you,
Yeah. Oh
almost,
yeah.
if that
Oh
makes
yeah.
sense. And it's like if I'm a player, that's kind of I would not like that. I would be agitated and aggravated by that because if you're a good player, you're a good player. It's maybe there's certain circumstances why you might be playing in some of these leagues. Maybe you're coming off an injury. Maybe, you just got
Yeah.
married or your wife, you had a kid or you had to work a little bit and you're trying to get the rust off. And I just think sometimes that's a crappy way to look at it. But I thought that was an interesting point that you brought up.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a reality too. I mean, me and you have both been involved in certain leagues in the U.S. and we do know what kind of talent some of them have and are capable of. But at the end of the day, the world doesn't fully understand how we operate here, or how certain leagues are and stuff. Or so I think it just gets kind of confusing to them. So like if they're like in their minds, they're like, if it's not NBA, if it's not G League, for the most part, they're really like, we're good, unless it is an entry level, team that they're like, hey, we'll take a rookie straight out of college or whatever. But for the most part, yeah, it's really tough. I mean, especially like in I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of these teams from other countries, like they want NBA or NBA G League experience. They don't even care if you had crazy stats. They want to know that you touched that level. As crazy as it sounds,
Does it because
but
it
like
adds credibility to their league and
yeah,
marketability?
exactly. So when they post it, they're like, "Hey, welcome whatever player from NBA and whatever." Like they don't mention the stats and
Right,
all that stuff, but just
right.
hey, he's a 6'6" wing net or what a 6'8" forward or whatever from the NBA. Just looks really cool in their country. So I think what's really crazy, like, and not even just now, but it's probably happened in the past, is it's just I think people have to be able to understand how many athletes are really trying to go after the same thing. Everybody wants to go play overseas, and um, and I think it's cool because here in the U.S. there are some teams that are able to pay a guy like you said, like, hey, I just want to stay here with my family, be
Yep,
local, play in front of my family and friends, and at a high level and in a nice arena or something.
sure.
Um, but then, like I said, there's a lot of guys that are chasing that overseas stuff, and like I said in my book that I have coming out, um, there's a lot that I talk about with all this stuff, but um, it's not all glamorous. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some stuff that's like I've heard some crazy, crazy stories. But then I've also heard some amazing ones, and like ones where like guys have found their future wives, in these countries or whatever and stuff. It's really cool, to be able to talk to so many different people and hear so many different stories and backgrounds, and just learn so much. There's a lot that I'm still learning now. Like, I've even been doing this for a few years now, but there's so much that I'm still learning that I'm like, oh man, like, I didn't even know that. So. Um, it's just really cool in general, man. I love watching guys get their opportunities, whether that's here or internationally. But kind of back to what we were talking about, it's just the quality of film and the stats are
Yes.
so vital for these guys, man. Like, I tell them that's like money for real. If you're gonna go to an overseas team and don't go over there and just say I hooped in wherever. Like, what are you getting from that? You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, it's cool to say you went and hooped in this country and whatever, but like if you're really trying to make a career out of this, that film and those stats are everything. Like, you need to be able to have every game link that you need. It needs to be crisp, look clean.
No
Your
music in the
stats need to be
background. Yep,
yeah,
yep,
your stats need to be FIBA, so
yep.
that it's just you have your stuff all in one place, and you can click it, copy paste to whatever agents, coaches, and like even market yourself. I mean, it's crucial. It's crucial, and I think a lot of guys, I shouldn't say a lot of guys, a lot of people in general, I don't think understand like the kind of work that you do, Rich, and in helping these guys, be able to take those steps and get to where they're trying to go.
Well, I appreciate that. Again, Overseas Diners with Q. Rich Quinones here. Freddie Zamora, kind enough to join us. We are powered by our wonderful friends over on Channel 82 in Bermuda, and of course, get social with me on all social media platforms. I want to go back to what you said about the film and the stats. Like, I tell a lot of players too, like, I get it. These are nice TikTok reels and IG and highlights, but nobody wants to hear music. Like,
Oh,
just, give us 3 to 5. It's almost like it's an air check. 3 to 5, give the repertoire, right? If you're a
yeah,
stretch four, if you can rebound, if you're a high flyer, if you run the floor,
yeah,
if you're a great defensive, you know, showcase your strengths, right? And then do it
yeah,
properly. Be professional about it. Let me see that resume. Have it typed up, right? And you can even put on there, strengths and weaknesses, and
yeah,
what you're looking to gain by going overseas, as you said, not just for again, for someone like me who broadcast, who's been doing this pretty much over 20 plus years. I mean, it's my life, as you know.
yeah.
I know there's a reason why I want to broadcast games and leagues overseas. I have my reasoning behind it, and
Mhm.
I've kind of planned it out and mapped it out and been very meticulous about it. Um, but sometimes I understand, your best laid plans. Sometimes they don't come to fruition, and you have to pivot. You got to move around a little bit. You have to be a little more open and adjust on the fly. And it's the same thing that I'm sure you convey to some of these players. You might be making, I don't know, 3,500, 4 grand in the TBL capped off, or, I don't know what the pay scale is going to be with this new USBL. Maybe it's going to be 5 or 6 grand. Maybe overseas, you're only going to make 3,500, but you're going to get a substantial amount of burn. You're going to get travel costs. You're going to get housing. You're going to be in a great area. It's going to be a warm climate. You're going to work with guys that have been around the game for 20, 25 years. So it's like checks and balances. You have to weigh,
Mhm.
the pros and cons. And again, I want to go back to what you said because you have so much experience with this. Sometimes I think, you know, it's human to just see the glitter and the glamour, like, oh man, I'm doing this. Yeah, but peel back the curtain a little bit because
Yeah.
I've had players come on and they're like, Rich, everyone said the same thing to me. They're there to do a job and they don't care if you are exhausted, tired, jet lagged, you've been on a plane for 13 hours, you didn't sleep.
Mhm.
Get your fanny into the gym. I want to see what you're going to do. And I think there's a misconception. Like if you were to give advice to players right now tuning in and they've got this, hey man, I'm definitely going to go overseas, like without giving away too much because I know you're going to have it in the book, but what would be probably your two or three vital things that they need to have all their, their ducks in a row, so to speak?
I think, well, for one, like I'll kind of go back to what you were saying is, I call it like an elevator pitch. Like if you have you know what I'm talking about. If you have a
30
company
seconds, man.
or
Sell
an
me.
idea and you're in the elevator with a
Yeah.
high level person, hey,
Yeah.
what are you gonna say to pitch that
Yeah.
person to
Well,
your,
I'm probably going to hit the alarm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm saying it's called like an elevator pitch for athletes.
Yeah.
Is like you said, what I get all the time, Rich, is guys will shoot me a DM and I cannot stand it. So like this is something. If you can take a gem, take this, because I know if you're talking to me like this, you're probably talking to other coaches and owners and GMs like this, and maybe not even fully understanding that it's not okay, because they'll DM and they'll be like, "What's up, bro? Check me out. I'm a tough dog." Like, Rich, I can't do nothing with that. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm talking about pitch, like an elevator pitch, you got to come correct with your stuff, man. Like you said, your resume's got to be laid out. What's your height, weight? What airport are you flying out of? Do you have a passport? Are you ready? Like, all this information, your highlights, your stats, references upon check, whatever. All this stuff, ducks in a row. But
Yeah.
not only that, like I even take it a step further. Don't just copy paste messages. Like we've all been there before, though. I get it. With jobs, hey, Mister Whatever, like we've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
But with this kind of stuff, like it's so important that you're personalizing these messages for these particular clubs. So like I always tell guys, whatever market you're looking for, whether it's Portugal, Mexico, whatever, look at that market. What are the tiers there? Are there certain teams that you want to like, try to go play for because a friend's played for them or whatever? Okay, now like find out a little bit about their background. Who's their head coach? Where's he coached at? What kind of players have came through there? So you can be like, hey, I know Jackson played there, and we're similar type players, and he did well. I thought I'd be reaching out to that kind of stuff will stick out rather than saying, "What's up, bro? Here's my stats. I'm a tough guard." Like
Right.
that stuff doesn't it doesn't fly. So that kind of stuff, first impression's everything, and that in a sense is your first impression. So there's a whole bunch more in the book
Sure.
that I go in depth
Sure.
with that stuff, but that's one of the main things that I'm like, it's so crucial that you have that down the right way.
Do you think, and I want to be careful how I word this, um, because I have a
Okay.
lot of hoops heads that tune in, and
Yeah.
agents and coaches.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel there there are those that will sit there and say, "I can rep you,"
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, they're not really repping the player. They're repping themselves, and they're kind of using the player as bait to maybe get what they want down the road.
Mhm.
If that kind of makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm wondering, you're kind of like a conduit, like you can kind of direct because you've got so many connections and ties. Like, what is there a red flag a player might, wanna, kind of take a step back? All right, this could be a potential red flag. Rich Quinones said he's going to rep me, he's going to set me up, he's going to hook me up. But man, I don't know, man. I can't get a hold of him. He's not responding. I think he's telling the same guys that I know, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Like when it comes to that, do you believe a player should get repped, or do you believe that the player has the right resume, body of work, connections, contacts, comes about it the right way, the solid stuff on film, that should be enough where they can go out and get their own gig?
Uh, that's a really good question. I mean, I speak on that a little bit in the book too, but I mean, to like kind of shorten it up. I always tell guys like you can represent yourself. Like I think a lot of guys get that misconstrued that you can't represent yourself, but there's also like we've talked about earlier, like trade offs with everything in life. And like I always tell guys, if you want to rep yourself on, like if you're making $1,000 or $1,200 a month in whatever country, If you want to take a gamble and rep yourself there, that's okay. But with that kind of, stuff, you know, um, I'm trying to word it the right way too, can come, um, it can go south, like
Yeah,
so.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, you take that job, yeah, you got it. Your video and highlights and everything got you there. It's good to go. But now what happens when that team doesn't want to pay you or that team doesn't want to fly you home? You don't have nobody representing you. So now you
Right,
might be stuck there. So I tell guys, if you're gonna do that, just be prepared to have, money put away to where in the event that you don't get paid or you need to like fly, like you gotta have money, And so that's what I'd say about that. But I think having, an agent represent you, again, this is in the book. It's just like it's got to be a really mutual relationship to where the agent, you and the agent just click. You guys are on the same page. You guys have the same, here's where I'm trying to go. Like, what's your plan, action step for that? Like, all that stuff matters. And an agent, like we talked about, in the event that you don't get paid or they don't want to pay for you to
right,
get home or, whatever the case may be, the agent's going to be the one to step in and want to reach out to FIBA and, try to
yep,
make things right, reach out to the team like, hey, you had it in his contract, like you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You were not getting that. They're the ones doing that so that you don't have to. So, like I said, I tell guys, it's really at your own discretion, but um, it's like I said, it's at your own discretion. If you want to take a gamble on yourself on an entry level type job, you can do it, but you got to be prepared for, like I said, if you don't get paid or if they don't want to take care of you.
are you more comfortable with, do you like, kind of, and I say with respect, the middleman that knows a guy who
Yeah,
knows a guy who knows a guy, right, to get things done.
yeah,
Um, but I know you love coaching as well. I mean, right
mhm,
now, I know you got the family going on, you're busy with that, and God bless, and I'm so happy for you with everything going
yeah.
on in your life. If, if the right fit, the right team, the right situation, I mean, would you want to do full time coaching like you were doing before? You kind of want to just
Um,
kind of do your own thing right now.
Man, like that's kind of like the cool thing right now, man. Is like I feel like I've built so many good relationships and connections, and you know, has a have a you know accomplished a lot in a short amount of time to where like I don't know, it's I just like we just talked about. I had my fourth child now, and it's like I'm able to like look and be like, man, my ducks are in a row. Thank God, and have a good family and kids and stuff, and but my love for basketball is never going to leave me, and so even the overseas stuff, I've always, I always tell people I fell into it like on accident, like
Right,
I helped a guy who helped a guy or whatever, and just kind of domino effect because as we know, like word of mouth travels really fast.
right.
So it's something I really loved. Like there's always been a thought of like, ooh, do I want to become a certified agent? Do I want to have my own agency? Do I still want to do coaching? Like, what do I want to do? But I feel like God's never steered me wrong. So it's like it's not something that I'm like, oh man, I gotta hurry up, I gotta get to work. I think, what's meant to happen is gonna happen. And I really like where I'm at right now. I love at the end of the day just helping people, whether that is as a coach or whether that is, helping the guy find his first overseas job or just getting back to playing overseas. I just enjoy helping people,
Yeah,
because
or
I know how hard it is.
let me interrupt you and add,
Yeah.
or you're taking, or maybe you're helping a frustrated broadcaster and you're giving them great advice over the last several years to just do X, Y, and Z. So,
Oh man.
that's, for the listening audience, coaches, Freddie has helped me out tremendously because, you're an outside the box thinker, and it was like, "Hey, man, just start throwing stuff and see what sticks." And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't want to do that, and it's opened up doors for me. And I know you're a huge advocate for me as I am for you. So, I just wanted to say, I got to give you the flowers for joining me and give you the props, man, because you're right. It is ultimately at the end of the day doing the right day and the connections. I do. I am curious. I know we got a couple minutes left. I want to get your thoughts
All
on
right.
this. I know that some of these AAU groups and younger groups of hoopers across the country, they're kind of taking this. This is what they do in Europe. We're taking these young guys and they're playing against the men, man, because that's what they do in Europe, right? I mean,
Mhm.
so it's like, hey, man, get in there. get your man strength and stuff like this, 18, 19, 20. We want to play 25, 26, 27 years old. I think it's been successful in that regard, but I think it helps out some of these younger players tremendously. Do you look at how they kind of cultivate the contact? I'm sorry, the talent overseas. They start them a little younger, going against men. Do you like that?
I do, man. I do. I think what's kind of crazy in the US, to be honest, like I always talk to one of my buddies that's been in the coaching industry for a while too. Like we always talk about it now though, is like I feel like we're in a sense a little bit lost. Like whether that's, obviously with all the NIL stuff going on and
Of course.
NCAA, like I feel like there's so much going on that it's getting ourselves confused. We're like, all right, well, now you can accept a G League guy to come back, and that's never been allowed. So it's like
Right,
there's
right.
so many things going on to where, like we talked about with overseas, their stuff's been set and it's been producing, and I mean, you're slowly starting to see more international players taking over the NBA here in the US. So it's like,
Sure.
or I mean, they're even trying to expand over into the Europe market, as you know. So it's like to see that style of play and everything. I really I think you hit it perfect. Like over there, there's young guys, young men playing against grown men at an early age. For example, like Luka Doncic. Um,
Right, right.
but like as you know, and any other hooper knows, like when you go to the playground, which a lot of people are afraid to do that anymore. But when you went to the playground, or whatever, and you're going to play hoops with grown
You're
men,
going against the old heads.
you either hold your own or you don't get on the court. And if you lose, you
Right.
don't get back on the court. And that's how I learned, and that's how I love that. I love the fact that like we can go up against grown men, and you probably can get your ass beat. You're probably not going to be very good, but that's how you get better. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I think absolutely the U.S. can start to do a lot more to get this on track. Um, but I do love how they do it internationally.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, like I said, it's a sink or swim. Real quick, I know you mentioned so is the book out? Is it going to be out? Because I feel as though, I wanted to ask you, I know we're so tight, but I
Oh,
wanted
you're
to
right.
ask you so
You're
many questions. You're like, yeah, well, it's in the book. So there's the pitch, right? That's the promo right there, the pitch for the
right.
book.
that's
So,
that's why you got to go buy it. No, I mean, honestly, you already know I'm gonna send you a copy, man. But honestly, like it's basically written. I'm waiting on a couple of people's sections that are gonna go into the book,
okay.
and then I have to go through the process, of getting the book cover, the barcode, and the publishing and editing and all that stuff, which can happen fairly fast. My goal is to hopefully have it out by the holidays.
Nice.
Um, if not, it's okay. I want to make sure more so that this is going to have everything in it that I want to have in it for this. If someday I want to do a part two because I'm like, hey, I missed some stuff, okay. But I wanted to try my best to include a lot of variables and stuff that, questions that come up and scenarios and perspectives. I have so much in the book that, like, it's not going to help just players. Like I
Right.
got sections in there for parents. I got sections in there for parents of players. I mean, I got sections in there for coaches that want to coach overseas. Like there's so much in there, and obviously it's not a just hey, if you do this step, and this step, you're gonna get where you're trying to go. Like you and I both know that's not how it works.
No.
It's not
No.
cookie cutter, but it's information to me that, like you said, I've been doing this for a while. That it's like, in a sense, to me, know it like the back of my hand or basic. But to others, they're just completely like, I have. Where do I start? I don't know what to do. Who do I talk to? Rightfully so, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, like I said, I want to get it out as quick as I can. But like I said, I have so much good information in there, man, and a lot of good insights in there, from people, like I said, from all different types of areas, that I think is going to be really, really valuable and cool for the reader, man.
Fantastic, man. I look forward to getting that copy and diving into it and taking a lot of notes for
Got you.
myself. Where did you want to push anything on social? If people want to get in contact with you on social media, if they had any questions, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think on Twitter is like Coach Fred Zamora. On Instagram, Coach Freddie Zamora. Um, Instagram is probably like the best way to reach out to me if you need to for via DM. But then like the book page is called Passport and Pivot. Um,
Nice.
I just got the Instagram page up and running for that too as well. But Outside of the book for that, that's going to be like its own entity, and I have a lot of really cool things coming to that too as well that I'm excited to share to people when the time comes. But there's a lot of cool stuff that I plan on doing with that as well. So they're more than welcome to follow that too as well, and hopefully get this thing launched soon.
Well, listen, you're doing fantastic, and I can't thank you enough for all the sound advice that you have given me over the last several years. It's priceless. It's grand, beyond grateful for it. And like I said, if I'm in an elevator, my pitches, I'm gonna hit that emergency button. I'm gonna yap you to death. So, but
Oh, man, no, it's mutual, man. I mean, like even having me on here, I appreciate it too, man, and I appreciate your friendship, and I think it's cool how we just kind of connected, and
yeah,
over the last couple of years,
yeah,
we just send each other texts, hey, how you
yeah.
doing, man? What's going on, and it's just cool how we bounce stuff off of each other, and it's cool to see you continue to progress and do what you do best, So it's like I always tell you, even in text, man, just keep doing what you're doing because
Thank you.
I'm hoping someday I see you and you're doing live streams from some league that I'm like, man, that league's sweet. So, um, it's just a matter of time, man. I really appreciate your craft and what you do for players, like we talked about earlier. A lot of these guys need really quality live stream and commentating because that's a whole nother thing too. But like even the commentating, man, on live streams, it can be dull or boring. Like that's what I love that you sent me your stuff and I was able to watch it
Thank
and
you.
engage and you're knowledgeable, like all that stuff matters. It matters a lot, and I hope for the listeners listening to this that they can understand how much that stuff is of value for them.
Well, as we say, hey, the check is in the mail, brother.
Yeah.
Um, all right, we got to start wrapping it up. Don't forget, we always thank our good friends over in Channel 82 Bermuda. Give them a follow on social media platforms. You can catch Overseas Dimes not only on the YouTube channel, Amazon, also Spotify, Apple, and our guy, Coach Freddie Zamora, nice enough, kind enough to join us. Brother, I appreciate you running the floor with us and joining us on this edition of Overseas Dimes. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. Thank you, and thank you to all the listeners, man. Thank you guys.
All right, guys, as always, we will talk to you next time courtside. Don't forget to check out Channel 82 Bermuda. You can catch me Monday to Friday on Q, 4 to 6 on the YouTube channel, and of course on social media at Rich Q on Q.